Hello all, this is Mark from tushua.com, where I help people become better language learners and better teachers of foreign languages. And I am recording this from the scary jungles of Thailand. Not really, I mean, it just kind of noisy bugs out here, but it's okay. Um, I have kind of a surprising thing to talk about, given my last video, and that is I think it's better to start learning simplified characters before traditional. I don't think traditional characters are horrible. I don't think they're a waste of time. I don't think they're obsolete. I hate that attitude, actually. But, and actually, it's even easier. Like, I learned traditional first, and it was easier for me to go to simplified than people who learn simplified and go to traditional. But I still think you should learn simplified characters first. And that's because it's a lot easier to handle the complexity later on. When I first started learning Chinese, I suffered. And I don't know if you've seen the traditional version of Yisheng, the E, but it's like this big monstrosity that appears in either chapter 1, 2, or 3 of every Chinese learning textbook series I've seen. And there are other characters like Rong is this big complicated thing in traditional, and then in simplified it's just the speech radical and a shang, and that's it. And it's you actually, I've seen this used for people making the opposite argument, because you actually do have to learn all of that complexity pretty much eventually in simplified characters. Like the horrible right half of Rang is in Miang, like Miangzhou. Even in simplified, like the ferment, that character, that has the same right portion as Rang, but it's not simplified in that character. So the simplified learner actually encounters all of these things, and a lot of times where they need to learn the exact same stuff they would have learned earlier if it were traditional, just later on. But I don't think that matters, because when you first start learning Chinese, if you get like this 20-stroke or 30-stroke, or in the case of some characters worse, monstrosity, you're not gonna, well, you're just gonna spend a ton of time on it. Whereas if you already know, say, even if it's just a couple thousand characters, or even 1,000 characters, and then you encounter a complex one, it's easier because you know a lot of the building blocks in it. Your brain is already kind of adapted to how Chinese writing works. So I don't have any concrete proof for this, but just from what I've seen of other people learning, I think if you start learning simplified characters, do that until you know, say, enough to read kids' books, and then you switch to traditional, you'll actually know more traditional characters, and you'll be better at reading, or if you're practicing at writing them, than you would if you just started with simplified. Than if you just started with traditional, because you get an easier time until you get up to speed, and then you get the complexity later when you can handle it. That said, I do prefer to read traditional. I think they're a lot clearer in a lot of cases. Not just that they have more semantic information, but there are a lot of times where simplifications like 无论的无 and 天 are almost the same, at least to me. Or like what else? I can't think of them off the top of my head, but there are a lot of simplifications where the characters look very similar to the traditional, or to each other, whereas the traditional versions don't at all. They're like totally different. And so if I don't have to write them, I prefer simplified. And I prefer traditional. I can go faster. If I have to write them, I spent a long time in Taiwan, so it's tough to say, but I know that if I'd spend equal time with the two, like simplified would be way easier. Till next time.